I was used by the guy whom I thought was my best friend. I didn't realize that he was using me for many weeks, but when I put two and two together, I could think about nothing else. After a ragefully sleepless night, I decided to journal about it. I was a very violently destructive child, but it was always a lapse in judgment. This was the first time that I meditatively allowed the rage to flow through me. As soon as I felt I had finished, I saved the text file, closed my computer, and went to the beach to work out. The next day, I reread what I wrote for the first time. It was indescribably surreal to read such hateful words that I remembered writing myself. It was grotesque how descriptive and specific I was about the terrible things I wanted to happen to him. I never said that I wanted to be the one to punish him, just that random coincidence strips him of his charisma so he can't use anyone else. Then that his deteriorating mental state falls him on his own sword. I wanted his own terribleness to be his own demise. Please don't hear those words and think that I'm trying to absolve myself of the stain of that negativity. This video is instead to share a method of moving on. I cannot recommend journaling enough, especially when you're angry. Do not repress a single emotion. By bringing a feeling into the light, you strip it of its power over you and learn about yourself. The stronger the feeling, the deeper the insight you'll learn. I want to say that I've forgiven him, but I'm afraid that if I make that declaration prematurely, it'll only serve to re-repress what I've sought to uncover. I wanted to help him, and I can't allow his selfishness to prevent me from being charitable in the future. Therefore, I must learn what I can from this experience. All of this reminds me of when I used someone. I was dating this girl, and when I became homeless, she let me sleep in her car. I knew I wasn't that into her, but I don't feel that bad about it because I was doing a lot of other, very self-destructive things. And as I record this script into this camera, now, as I hear those words coming out of my mouth, that justification, I can't help but imagine those same words in the mouth of my former best friend. I sent an email to my mom before I cut off the relationship 2 years ago, detailing all the things I'd been bottling for 2 decades. I don't know if she ever read it, but it was easily the most relieving thing I've ever done in my life. I no longer had to carry those pains and was finally able to move forward with my own life. I wanted this essay to be more philosophical, about how your internal evil can consume you if you don't face it. To that end, I read the journals of the Columbine shooters and watched a 3-hour police interview of the Parkland shooter. The journals were rather underwhelming, mostly just babbling about Nazism, except that on January 12th, Eric writes legitimate self-awareness, that his hatred for others stems from his hatred for himself. I have always hated how I looked. I make fun of people who look like me, sometimes without even thinking, sometimes just because I want to rip on myself. That's where a lot of my hate grows from, the fact that I have practically no self-esteem, especially concerning girls and looks and such. Therefore, people make fun of me. Constantly. Therefore, I get no respect, and therefore, I get fucking pissed. I found even less from Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter. What I did find very engaging was a TED Talk by Aaron Stark, who almost shot up a school in youth. I've seen it 4 times, and I cried 3 of them.